So, welcome to this, brief 12-week session of introduction to this Shatayushi program. This is a 12-week, 360-degree transformation wellness program, and our company, Arna Gen Next Solutions Private Limited, of whom the three of us are co-founders, Dr. Rashmi Kulkarni, Sujata Gokhale, and Renuka Kirkar. We have very diverse backgrounds, and Dr. Rashmi Kulkarni has done her PhD in molecular genetics. She has an MSc in microbiology. I am from, the MS Information Technology and Control Systems Engineering, and Renuka Kirkar is a Google developer, expert Flutter, and she has done her bachelor's in computer science. So we're just as diverse about as the microbiome, about which Dr. Rashmi will talk to you about it in very little time from now. So basically, when we thought about starting this company, Arna Gen Next, we considered the concept of wellness. We found that there were so many chronic diseases, and there were so many health issues around us, and it was impacting in every single field. So for us, the 8 dimensions of wellness were, as shown on the screen: emotional, physical, social, occupational, financial, environmental, spiritual, and intellectual. And if you see, each of them are interconnected. If you are not physically well, how would you be doing well in your occupation? How would you do well, and earn well for your family? Emotional wellness, social wellness, spiritual wellness, environmental wellness all contribute to your mental health. So, an overall perspective of both physical and mental wellness was required. And we realized, according to the experts we have, that is Dr. Rashmi, that these were all interconnected to a basic concept called as microbiome. So the whole wellness was, dependent on the concept of microbiome. So we talked about a lot of these, this concept to people. We had a lot of outreaches, and we had programs trying to make people aware about the relationship between the wellness and the microbiome. And then they asked us, it's good to hear about this. It's nice that we are aware, but how can we go forward with it? And that's when we devised this Shatayushi program. This is based on 4 foundational pillars, which we will talk about very soon. But they asked us, what makes you unique? Because we have been going to different programs, which either focus on diet or on, physical exercise. So what is making you different from all of this? So we said, okay, we'll explain. And we said, we don't recommend any crash diet, nor do we recommend any particular diet like a keto diet or some other kind of diet where you are fasting. So we do not recommend any of those kind of diets, nor do we recommend supplements. There are people who recommend supplements and then you lose your weight or you get well soon. Then we do not ask you to overly gym. We ask you to do a fair amount of exercise, but not go, 24 hours to the gym. Nor are we going to ask you to get fancy food on your plate. So what difference does it make? How will it make a difference? We are sustainable. That means once you lose your weight or once you get well, we know that you're able to maintain that particular, wellness factor that you have achieved. Habit forming, it becomes, you make subconsciously, your mind has started to make the right choices. And that is why we have this 12-week program. It's a kind of hand-holding program. And the concept of mental wellness, physical wellness is nothing without mental wellness. And so vice versa. We need them to go hand in hand. And of course, like I told you before, it's microbiome friendly. It's a concept that you need to know, which really relates to our wellness and the kind of food and the kind of environment we give for our gut bacteria to thrive and survive. So how do we go about this program? Now, this was your introduction to the program this week. Next week, we start the week 0 program. The in week 0, we have a detailed one-to-one consultation with the nutritionist. Then we have a discussion with the team, and we formulate a personalized wellness plan that includes diet, exercise, microbiome, and mindset. That means you have a one-to-one consultation not only with the nutritionist, that is your first step. Then you have a one-to-one consultation with your exercise or fitness expert. You have a one-to-one consultation with your mindset expert. And then, of course, we as a part of the team look into the microbiome aspect. So totally, you get a complete package about the various aspects about your wellness. And then we start with week 1 to week 12, where we have a particular format. Monday to Friday, we exercise 30 minutes. We have a mindfulness session of 10 minutes, a meditation session of 15 minutes, and then a diet tip of 5 minutes. So this is your 1 hour every single morning from Monday to Friday. And then you have your daily wellness trip through our tips through our WhatsApp group, through which we are continuously connected 24/7. Your food habits, your exercise habits are all monitored, especially some of the activities that we give. Make it mandated for you to send the pictures on it every single day, on which our experts will give their specific comments, so you can make the slight modifications that you need to make on in your diet and exercise plan, and you take it further so that you get your optimum results from the program. Then, of course, you have handholding for personalized diet, wherein you can write back to your nutritionist or expert saying that this is a little difficult for me, or it's challenging, and then she or he comes back to you and explains how you can make the changes. Every Saturday, we have very interesting sessions these are 2 sessions, 40 minutes each, which actually have include even activities that we will be asking you to do it on that particular day along with us. So it's a kind of fun moment, but a learning moment as well, where you will be given a new and interesting information which you may not have heard of before. So then we have the review of the weekly progress. We ask you how the week went by, whether you were able to achieve whatever goals you had for those week, or how have you progressed from where we started. And then a question answer session on the topic of the week, that is every Saturday that we present. Of course, we have follow up on our WhatsApp community and weekly activities as well. So these are the theme of the weeks. We want to share it with you, as you can see on the screen, because each of these topics that we do every Saturday are going to be totally different. We start with detox and revitalize, wherein you need to know that what are the benefits of how we can detox and remove all the accumulated toxins from our body and actually clean up the slate before we start with something new and good for our body. Healing your mind, same thing. The mindset expert will help you to identify what are the stresses. Usually it is our mindset which actually restricts us from taking up any new changes in our daily routine. And following a wellness plan is also similar to that. We have our own roadblocks there, and we all went through that, and we all have to overcome that. And that is where you kind of heal your mind, reset your mind, and begin something afresh. Understanding nutrition, you start from the beginning basics about what nutrition we need to have for our body. Why? Because over a period of time, we become very, very callous. We forget what we had learned probably in our previous science textbooks, why this is important, that is important, and how we can incorporate in our food plate. And that's what we are going to do with understanding nutrition. And then, of course, all these supports our microbiome, which we start with which we talk about in our friendly germs. Dr. Rashmi will talk about it in some moments now, but you will be amazed to see that what the germs, the friendly germs in your own body can help you achieve. Then we have the fermented foods and the millets coming in week 5 and bringing in the fiber in week 6, where we talk about how fiber is very, very important for us. We just talk about fiber in our daily, in all the wellness programs, but why is it important that we include them, and how can we actually incorporate it in our diet? It's not so difficult. People find it very, very challenging, but it's not that difficult. Then, of course, seasonal foods, why they're important. Why do we have seasonal foods, and why we have the seasonal drinks? Why those things, why nature has given us those foods for that particular season? Because more than us, the nature understands the needs of the body. We are not in tune with our body. So probably we need to know why we should incorporate those foods in our body, in our diet plan. And then frosty and forgotten. This was an interesting topic taken up by one of our participants of the previous program, who wanted to know about how whether we can use frozen vegetables and fruits, and whether there are people who work abroad who actually cook and refrigerate food for using at a later date. I had recently talked to some particular person, and she told me, I cook dal for about a month and store it in the freezer, and then I take only chunks of it and use it. So are we getting the right kind of nutrition? So that will be discussed in week 8, and you'll be amazed to see what information it can actually give us. Then, of course, feel good fats. We only talk about whenever we go on a diet plan or we go on a wellness plan where we have to lose weight. The first thing that is cut off our plate is the good fats. But is it right to remove and take off all the fats? Are all fats bad? We need to know about that. Groove it to move it. Exercise. How exercise plays a vital role in our wellness by actually influencing our gut microbiome. Interesting connect there. Again, very interesting session there. Being one with nature and mindflex. These are two different, interesting aspects to our program, wherein we are actually, the mindflex is how you can keep your mindset going. See, 12 weeks we have done the hand holding, and then it is up to you to continue it, and how you subconsciously understand this program and how to continue with this lifestyle is what the mindflex will actually inform you with, how it is easy to make those small changes and keep them going through life, so that those are good choices that you make for life, good habits that you make for life. So these are the 4 aspects of our program: microbiome, mindset, nutrition, and exercise. Like I told you before, 4 experts on this field will guide you thoroughly during this program, and they will give you your personalized information about the changes that you need to do so that we can achieve our complete wellness. Some of our experts here, we have Dr. Rashmi Kulkarni, the microbiome expert. Then we have our nutritionist, a team of experts for nutrition. We have Medha Tonapi, who is the mindset expert, and of course, Ishani Deshmukh, the exercise expert. So now I will hand it over to Dr. Rashmi Kulkarni, who is our microbiome expert, and she will let you know about about the concept of microbiome, which may be new to some of you all. For some, you might have already heard about it before. So, Dr. Rashmi Kulkarni, all over to you.
Yes, thank you so much. I'll just stop your sharing.
Yeah,
so that
I'll stop my sharing.
Yes, so I am going to share my screen. I hope everybody can see that. Is the screen visible?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so I'm just going to briefly talk about the microbiome. It's my favorite topic, and this is all about what that was something about me. So I just want to ask you a question. Are you or your loved ones facing any of these? The whole idea of bringing this information about the microbiome and this program is because all of us, all of us are suffering from something or the other. I don't remember seeing anybody who is completely normal. So we are talking about all kinds of chronic diseases, pains, inflammation, allergies, mental health issues, recurrent infections, poor concentration, poor productivity. Isn't it happening to all of us and our children? So this webinar is for all of us. Here we are going to talk about microbiome, our superhero, and you are about to find out why we call it our superhero at Arnagen Next. So just going back to who we are, when we talk about all of these diseases, we are focusing on all of the visible organs. So I'm not even, in our ancient traditional practices, any kind of treatment focused on the entire body, the mind, the environment around it. But here we have broken down our body into different components. So for example, if there's something wrong with the heart, we go to a cardiologist who tries to fix that or, gives something for maintenance of that issue. But are we really only our visible organs? We are actually a combination of our visible organs and trillions of invisible microorganisms or germs, as we call it. This is what makes us completely human. So we have an equal or even 10 times more number of microbial cells in our body all the time. And this is normal. This is what makes us completely human. So if we think about it, we are not 100% human. Majority of our functions are actually carried out by the microorganisms. And think about how many things you just did today to kill microorganisms in your life. What kind of a hand soap do you use in your house? So why should we care about the microbiome? Why should we care about the germs in our body? If you look at this equation, what makes us completely human is not just our human organs, which are constant. We cannot change them, right? But what is interesting is we can change the microbiome. And it is very important that we can change it. This is our variable component. That's why we should care, because it does a lot of things and we can make it better. It is our better half. So here the germs are saying we are the 99%. Let us learn and respect the microbiome. So what does the microbiome compose? What is it composed of? When I say bacteria, most people will say that, oh, they remember antibiotic resistance, infections, and a lot of most common things, bacterial infections, mostly viruses. We all know people think of COVID-19, the most recent scare, fungal infections. When we talk about fungi, when we talk about protozoa, it's usually malaria or something similar, diarrheal disease. Why do these things have very negative connotations? Because, it's like everybody talks about a criminal and not people who do all of the wonderful deeds normally. It's exactly the same. So the trillions of microorganisms that live in our body are actually doing wonderful, wonderful jobs that help keep us normal and healthy. So germs are everywhere on our body, on and inside all of our organs, or most of them. And what are they doing there? They do some extremely important things. Now, I've shown only a very, very few of these. If we talk about the microbiome that lives in our gut, it's called the gut microbiome. We have many such microbiomes like the skin, the oral microbiome, the lung microbiome, so on and so forth. But just looking at the gut microbiome, this is our invisible organ. It plays a very important role in our mental health, in absorption of the food that we eat, the minerals. Think about how many times people take supplements and it does not make any difference because they are not able to absorb the minerals or vitamins that they are taking, because we need germs for that. They even make a lot of vitamins for us. They help us in digestion of food, like the fiber that we eat. Who digests the fiber? We cannot digest it on our own. The digestion is actually done by the germs in our digestive tract. They help us build muscle. They help us in building our immunity. Think of this for a minute, that we are always trying to do something to kill germs all the time. So where is our immunity going to come from if we kill all the germs who are supposed to give us that immunity? They help make our bones strong. They improve heart health. They improve health of all of the organs, in fact. They even help in insulin secretion. So what happens when we do not have enough germs in our body? This is called a low microbiome diversity, which is actually very harmful. Here I have shown that there are very few germs and very few types of germs in the gut. So I'm just giving a very simple example. And I'm going to compare this to a city. So this is a city of Mumbai, for example. And now in this city, there are very, very few people living. And these people have decided that, oh, they will either be an engineer or a doctor. They are not going to perform any other jobs. They won't do any other professions. Just imagine what is going to happen to the city. Will it be functional? Does it have enough people to do all of the jobs? And does it have enough occupations, the variety of occupations that are required to keep it functioning smoothly? This is exactly what happens when we kill germs all the time and we do not have enough germs, enough types of germs, enough numbers of germs. It is actually very, very harmful. In contrast, when we have a very good diversity and very good numbers of microorganisms or germs in our body, it is like a city that is running extremely smoothly because there are enough people here living in this city, and they have decided they are going to do all of the different jobs or occupations that are required to keep it running smoothly. So be it a teacher, a farmer, a trader, a doctor, an engineer, you name it, you have everyone here. That's why the city runs smoothly. That's why everything is healthy and normal. This is exactly the same when we have a normal, healthy microbiome. So this is what the high and the low diversity looks like. When the microbiome diversity is high, when it is healthy, we have good immunity, we have good health. We are actually preventing a lot of diseases when we have this high number of germs and this high diversity of germs in our body. In contrast, when we have low numbers and the diversity of germs, it leads to poor immunity. We get sick all the time, and not just infections. It can give rise to all possible chronic diseases like diabetes, like Alzheimer's, like you name it. There are almost all of the diseases that we know of are linked in one way or the other to changes in the microbiome. So now if we think about hygiene hypothesis, this is very, very important because this is what we do throughout the day. This was even before COVID that we kept using disinfectants to spray and clean all of the surfaces. What are these germs actually going to do if we do not kill them? Think about this. And the overuse of antibiotics, over prescription of antibiotics. So hand sanitizers, we are constantly killing germs, hand soaps, body washes. Think about how many antibacterial, antimicrobial products you have in your house right now. Toothpastes are antimicrobial wipes, floor cleaners, you name it. So what happens to our microbiome? Where can we get these microorganisms from if we end up killing them all the time? So if we look at the rural lifestyle that our ancestors lived, where it was very close to nature, their lives had a lot of diversity of microorganisms coming from everything in nature. But now our lives are completely processed. We are using everything that is processed in our lives. We are living indoors in very, very sterile environments that are constantly cleaned and sterilized. So think about this. Is it giving rise to the diseases that we know of? If we think about just our immune system, now this cartoon is showing that the immune cells are constantly being trained, and they need to be trained by the microorganisms or the germs that live in our body. Here they are teaching the immune system. And what happens if there is a pathogen or a germ that is coming to infect us? This germ is saying, I think we'll struggle to set up a colony here because there's very good training going on right now. But what happens when we take antibiotics? What happens when we do not have germs? This training doesn't happen. So we fall sick very easily. And then when we take antibiotics, what the antibiotics do is they don't just kill these germs, they kill everything. They kill a lot more than just the disease causing germs. So this training does not happen properly after the antibiotic is taken, and infections are a lot more common. It is a lot easier to be infected after that. So we do not allow our immune system to get the training that it should. Now, if we talk about what is feeding these germs, so the food that we eat is also feeding the germs in our gut. Are we feeding them enough foods that are nutritious? Are we feeding ourselves good enough food? Does this look familiar? Does your meal look like this? Does your child's meal look like this? Is it really nutritious? This is a question that everybody really needs to ask themselves. Is this really food? So if we are not even feeding ourselves with the right kind of nutrition, what are we feeding the germs? How are they going to survive to do all of the jobs in the body? So here we promote eat the rainbow concept, where we try and incorporate all of the colors of the rainbow in our diet, because when we do that, all of these different colored fruits and vegetables and foods actually provide us with very different vitamins, very different minerals and phytochemicals that we do not get from any other color. That's why it is so important when we say that, oh, we should eat our greens. But yes, red, yellow, blue, purple, whites, browns are also very, very important. We cannot get all of our vitamins and minerals and phytochemicals from eating only greens. If we think about the body clock, now all of this is related very closely to the microbiome and to our health. So if we think about our body clock, our microbiome is actually quite different during daytime and at night. And if we think about how our ancestors ate, it was during the daylight hours. So it looks like something like intermittent fasting, similar to that. So if we do that, the food intake is during daylight hours, our metabolism and body clock are absolutely in sync. And this leads to good health because the food is properly digested. We are consuming it when our metabolic fire is the most active. But what we are actually doing now is we are eating at very weird hours when the microbiome has changed already. It is way past sunset when most people have dinner. And because of the order and takeaway culture, it's 24/7. Food is available 24/7, so we can eat 24/7. Is our body actually ready to digest it? So when we do that, we eat at very odd hours. What happens is our metabolism and body clock go completely out of sync. And what happens because of that is there's a lot of undigested food. There are a lot of toxic chemicals that are produced, metabolites that accumulate in our body, and the microbiome is completely disturbed or abnormal. And what happens when all of this is abnormal? This is what leads to majority of the diseases, infections, and overall poor health. Isn't this a very, very simple reason that just the timing of the same food that we eat might be causing diseases, infections, or poor health? So if we go back to all of the aspects, there are a lot of things that I cannot possibly cover today, but all of these go back to improving the diversity of our microbiome. But we keep doing things that actually deplete our microbiome. If we think about what our microbiome does, it is our protective armor against all diseases, including chronic diseases, allergies, infections, several forms of cancers. Yes. And our productivity at work, our children's academic performance, all of this is dependent on our microbiome, on the quality of our microbiome. So if we think about all of these current health issues that people have heart attacks in their 30s and 40s. Now, recently I heard somebody say that 40s is the new 60s. Is that really where we want to go? There's gluten intolerance that's a lot more common, lactose intolerance, food allergies in children, diabetes is extremely common, so many cancers. How did these suddenly appear? And why are they on the rise? That is because we are doing everything to reduce the diversity of our microbiome. That is because we are keeping convenience over our health. So we bring back in this program all of the microbiome friendly things. That's the three pillars that we talk about: nutrition, exercise, and mindset. And the crowning jewel of it all, the microbiome. Everything that we do in this program brings in a wonderful change in the diversity of the microbiome. And this is how we improve overall health. So we bring a lot of different activities that are going to improve the diversity of the microbiome. This is where we are on social media. These are our handles. Do find us on social media. And these are some of the testimonials from the previous batch of participants. we had excellent results. So we started this program because we have been doing this outreach about the microbiome so that people are aware of what these germs actually do, and we don't make the mistake of going towards extinction, because a lot of scientists are actually concerned that we are moving to a stage where the microbiome might be extinct. We might lose some very valuable species from our microbiome if we continue on this path. So this is why we were doing all of these outreach programs. And then we heard from a lot of people that, okay, all of this is fine, but what is the solution? How can we improve the diversity of our microbiome? How can we use this information to improve our health? So that was enough for us to design this program. And we had the first batch, we just completed that 2 weeks ago. So these are some of the testimonials from the wonderful interactions we had with our previous participant. So I'm going to stop sharing. And we have amazing experts here. Our mindset coach does a fabulous job of mental healing. We have deep healing sessions, which are very effective in not just calming our mind, helping us deal with stress, but it also helps improve the diversity of the microbiome. It is scientifically proven. Everything that we use in this has a scientific basis. That's why we have brought all of these techniques together. The activities that Sujata talked about, the topics of the week, although those titles might seem like, oh, we are just talking about fats or we are just talking about seasonal foods, but the content in it is, I mean, we promise it will be shocking and you will not hear it anywhere, neither from any doctor nor from a nutritionist. These are all scientifically proven, facts that most people ignore. This is why the program is unique. We have seen truly unique results from the program in 12 weeks. And it's continuous, it is monitored continuously. There's enough hand holding for people to form these kind of habits so that they last a lifetime. The topics of the week are designed to give information so that when we go through the program with the personalized diet, with the exercise that is recommended, with the mental healing sessions and the techniques that are taught, what happens with the topics of the week is that it is reinforced. Participants will know as to why we are doing what we are doing. When people know the importance of all of these things, it is a lot easier to get that into a habit formation mode. This is why we have included different topics of the week and different activities related to that. So this was about the program. If anybody has any questions, definitely we would love to take those.